Hey everybody, it's the Commodore from the Clan of the Grey Wolf, and you are watching the weekly Wringer series here on clanofthegreywolf.com. I'm glad to be in a little bit of a different space than I was last week, although many of you commented on the high quality of the video. I won't talk about that specifically, but I will say there's a very good reason why there was very high quality video last week, and glad to know that all of you are watching and that all of you are interested in how the video definitely comes together in its final form. You know, I'm trying, I feel like once we kind of relaunch, and I feel like once we unify on how the Wringer shot every week, and you know how everything's kind of standardized, I hope things will be a lot more clear in terms of how you guys can hear me, so on and so forth. And I know the microphones were really good last week. That's just going to be par for the course whenever I use that particular apparatus, which I won't name. But anyway, using the handy dandy official Clan of the Grey Wolf flip video camera, I feel like the audio is pretty good. So if it's really not that good, please let me know. But I can understand why last week's video was pretty desirable. I say all of that to really say this, that obviously I am in completely different circumstances this week, which is good, and still working on the finalized solution of what the Wringer will look like every week, although I think we've made some real progress. So hopefully we will be ready to really relaunch this thing in full style and regalia starting very soon. Now, we've got a lot to do today, so I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to welcome all the new folks like I always do, but I wanted to also we're going to have to talk about last week's question, that post-food poisoning kind of question, right? What kind of food you all jump into when you're getting into some of those late-night gaming sessions. There were plenty of fantastic answers, and I'm sure there could have been plenty more. I will review all of yours as I always do, and also as I always do, I will go through my own thoughts on the concept, and then we will go into next week's Wringer, which I hope will have you thinking at least a little bit about the folks that you game with. That in the business is what we call a teaser. And with that out of the way, I will move right on to welcoming all the new folks from this week. We actually had a fair number of new folks this week, which I thought was really cool. We always have new folks, but this week it's sometimes some weeks over others we have a lot of new folks versus a few of you out there. So I always try to take some time and welcome all the new folks to the community. Many of you have been watching for many weeks. Maybe you've been watching since the beginning, but for some reason or another, and I can't imagine why, you decided to choose this week to jump in and make your comments. Although I'm certainly not complaining, folks, as I said many times, comments are what keep the show going. So if you guys don't put comments up there, then I just look like an idiot, which some of you might argue I already do every week. But at least I look like an idiot, and then I don't have any comments, so then I look like an idiot and I feel like a loser. So keep commenting is what I guess I'm really saying. Anyway, so let's see. Let's jump right in here with Mutton Chopper. Welcome to you. By the way, awesome picture. I thought that was an interesting little character icon for Mutton Chopper. Definitely gets the point right home. So welcome to you very much. And let's see what else we've got. Jackson, maybe Jackson, that could be a way to read it. Jackson 93, I'm going to go with Jackson. Jackson 93, welcome to you as well. Cape Mario, awesome name. Love Cape Mario. Welcome to you. And this one was really cool, and I probably would have gotten a hint because you said welcome from Germany, and by the way, we have many German fans, so it's great to hear from all of you. But because you said that and because the name, I started to look at it and I said, you know what, that's got to be a German name. And some of you might not know this about the Commodore, but I do actually know a fair bit of German, so I just saw it and I thought immediately this must be an awesome German name. Therefore, I'm going to pronounce it in German, and then I'm going to talk about what it means, which is an interesting little sidebar to our conversation this week. But treulose Tomate. Interesting. I didn't know what that phrase meant. I knew what it literally meant, but I had to go look it up to see that it's really just kind of an idiomatic German phrase meaning a fine friend. So as in you're a you're a fine friend, right? So I thought that was a really cool name. So welcome to you, my fine friend from Germany. And lastly, also, we have, I'm going to go with plunge with no D. So it's kind of like plunge, like plunge a toilet. But anyway, that's a bad image to put in there while I'm welcoming you to the website. But welcome to you anyway. Anyway, welcome to all of you guys. Thank you so much for joining the community, and hope to hear a lot of comments from you for many, many weeks, months, / years to go. Welcome to all of you to the Weekly Wringer. All right. Now, as I said before, we've got to get back into the question from last week, which centered around food. All of the effects of food poisoning are now completely gone from my system. Thank goodness. That was awful. And some of you even, commiserated a little bit about your episode with food poisoning. I feel terrible for you as well. But I asked a question coming off of that, which was basically, hey, what do you guys do in terms of food for some of those, late night gaming sessions? Because I know sometimes those things happen. You have an all-night D&D session, for example. You have an all-night LAN party, or like we used to do, play GoldenEye 64 all freaking night long. What do you guys eat? What do you snack on? What are you grubbing on when you're doing your late night gaming sessions? You guys all had some really cool responses, and I couldn't put everything down because then I'd just be going back through the comments and doing every single one of them. But I have a lot of them, which is something that I don't do every single week, but I just want to go through, and I'm going to try to just run through everybody's and make some comments as it is. This is kind of a rapid-fire lightning round kind of question, so I'm just going to do it that way. Sky Sam Freeman mentioned Star Wars licensed gummies. I thought that was really cool. Gummies in general, like I have to tell you, like the gummy worms and stuff like that, those just hit the spot, and had those many times during those late gaming sessions. They get gone really quick. It doesn't matter what other food you've got there. If you've got gummy worms, they are gone. But if you have Star Wars gummies, I mean, that just rounds out the whole show right there, right? I mean, like that just hits the spot. You don't have to be doing a Star Wars themed game to be enjoying the Star Wars gummies. It kind of just completes the whole geekdom of the whole thing, and I think that really accentuates it very, very well. So, couldn't agree more. Sky Sam Freeman, absolutely wonderful. Sonic Rose talked about Fritos and root beer, which is an interesting combination to me. Fritos, I think, are kind of the universal gamers grub, if you will. They tend to snack really, really well. But the combination with root beer is one of my favorite gaming, as Sonic Rose would say, pops. I would say soda. But, root beer is awesome, and definitely consumed massive quantities of both of those things during late night gaming sessions. And Sonic Rose, if I'm not mistaken, also talked about the idea of Cheetos, which are very similar to the idea of Fritos. But Cheetos definitely starred in that very famous Dead Alewife sketch with the about Dungeons and Dragons, and how ridiculous it was that people were making comments about religious significance of Dungeons and Dragons because they didn't understand it. So where are the Cheetos? We still do that whenever we get together for Dungeons and Dragons. That happens to this day. Alberto Me talked about pizza. And this was something that just went on and on and on. I don't know how many of you said pizza, but it was probably 80% of you, right? The pizza is the great equalizer. That being said, I don't know that there were any of the kind of late night gaming sessions that we had that revolved around pizza. The only time pizza came into play was when we were playing those late night GoldenEye sessions back when we were playing GoldenEye, which was back in high school. I remember, I was never a big fan of the Pizza Hut. Not a big fan. And luckily, the Clan of the Grey Wolf is not endorsed by Pizza Hut, so I can say that, right? But for some reason, Rue loved Pizza Hut, even though Rue is crazy and takes all the grease off his pizza with a paper towel before he eats it because he's like OCD like that. But the point is, even most people don't eat pizza because it's greasy. But Rue hates grease, but loved Pizza Hut pizza. So anyway, we would always get Pizza Hut pizza for those and. I don't know. But anyway, pizza's great. It works for almost everybody. It has almost no nutritional value whatsoever. And you can get almost anything you could possibly want on it, right? So if you have some kind of weird-ass hankering at 1 o'clock in the morning, you can always get pizza delivered. And usually it's fairly economical, too. You split it with 3 people, and you're all going to be paying a little bit of money. Let's see. Mr. K talked about Beer and chicken wings. Couldn't agree more, Mr. K, about that. I don't know that chicken wings were ever a part of what we were doing, but beer absolutely became a part, especially as we got older, you know, doing those late night D&D sessions. It was all about drinking beer and whatever else kind of alcohol we could get on us. It just adds to the overall experience. I think all of you could probably relate to that as well. The other thing I wanted to say was, Mr. K, thank you for backing up my opinion on Captain America. It was awful for all the reasons that you said and all the reasons that I said last time. It was just so utterly disappointing. And for our new friend Mutton Chopper, who was new this week, I don't know why you can't imagine. Several people also during the course of this week said they understood my position on Avatar. You know, for you, Mutton Chopper, that doesn't understand, I would say that I don't understand how you like it so much. I just don't get that. It doesn't make much sense to me. You can not have a lot of depth and have not seen a lot of movies that came before it that are the exact same story. And maybe, you know, if you just get out of the idea of movies have to be really fantastic special effects, which it was. There were some spectacular special effects in Avatar, no question about it. But is it a great leap forward in filmmaking? Sorry, it's just not, right? It's just not. Anyway, I know I'm jumping back into last week, but Mr. K made that mention of Captain America, and I just thought, thank you for somebody that sees my perspective on Captain America. And by the way, and I'm going to get to Estolia in a little while, by the way, I did definitely go out and check out Captain Canuck. And that, let's just say, changed my life. Leaving it at that. Bismarck, one of our near and dear friends from the British Isles, and specifically out there in Ireland, talked about potatoes. Now, I thought that was probably ironic, because potatoes probably have nothing to do with the late night gaming sessions, but just to basically come in and say, you know, it's Bismarck from Ireland, and obviously I'm from Ireland because all we eat here is potatoes. I thought that was really cool. If not, you know, if that wasn't the intended irony, it at least made me laugh out loud. So thank you for that. Cape Mario, one of our new commenters this week, talked about White Castles. Now, I've never been to White Castle, so I don't know. I've never enjoyed the tremendous joy that goes in with a White Castle, or even an In-N-Out burger or something like that, right? But I can appreciate, because I know what a White Castle is, right? I have seen it. It's like one of the oldest fast food restaurants in the country, and with like the miniature burgers and things like that. I just think, man, that would be really good late night geek food. So I certainly appreciate the White Castle. I think that's a great contribution. Farrier mentioned popcorn. Hey, can't argue with that, right? In fact, you can do the popcorn stuff. Popcorn works in so many different ways. I remember if we did those late night gaming sessions right around Christmas time, everybody was getting those big tubs of popcorn when they'd have like the mixture, like with the chocolate or the caramel and the butter and the cheese, and oh man, those were the best. Just chowing down on that stuff. That was awesome. So couldn't agree more about the popcorn. I think that one works almost as universal as pizza. Maybe even more universal than pizza, because like there are people out there that don't like trail mix, right? There are people out there that don't like a lot of the foods we've been talking about. I don't know anybody that doesn't like popcorn, man. Popcorn's just like a universal good. It just does what it's supposed to do. So I think that's a great mention, and definitely one I could see people chowing down on at some late night gaming sessions. Estolia, and I had to choose through several different iterations because, you know, obviously there must be some kind of difference between a late night LAN party of yore and a D&D gaming session of yore, and both of said occasions today. Because as we all know, our tastes become more refined as we become older, and we don't find ourselves with a giant box or a big bag of Sweet 16s or Ho-Hos or something like that, right? You know, as we get older, our palates become more refined. So we need to get more appreciation for the finer things in the culinary arts. So Estolia said that as a contemporary and modern purveyor of such cuisine, that it was important to go out and get the can of balls and the Hot Pockets. So yeah, I'm just going to leave that as it is, except to say that balls is I think I'm not even sure that's legal in America. I remember people ordering cases of balls